Yep, that's right guys. My bearded dragon Diego was on that substrate for just over 4 years. Let me explain. Yep, that's right. 4 whole years he was on that wood pellet substrate. Now I've had loads of comments over the past. It's the reason why it's not really on this channel that much until now. He's been on here and there, and every time he goes on there I just get slated for the substrate that he's on. But people always tend to go, along with the bearded dragon community, they try and sort of hit you hard, that you're doing this wrong, but they do it in a way that they're trying to educate when they're not. They're trying to find a way to get you. I'm going off topic. They'll ask you a question, you tell them the question, you answer it, and then they start getting at you. What's that substrate you're using? Oh, it's a wood pellet substrate. It's a tortoise sort of based substrate, or it's advertised towards tortoise. You're gonna go. You don't know the backstory. That's what this video's for. So, Diego here, our bearded dragon, is an absolute character and a half. We've had him for around about 4 to 5 years. Now, he was the first reptile we ever got. Now, you know for a fact, with the first we've done years of research first, and the first reptile you ever get, you want to do everything. So, we're getting his nails clipped, we're doing the baths, the feeds, all the research and information you can find. We took him to the vets. This is where it got interesting. And just for a general checkup, so that we can have a date every year that we can get him checked up. And he still sticks to that date now, don't you, mate? Don't you? Yes, you do. So we took him to the vets. He had a problem that we didn't really know about. Now we just, obviously your first pet reptile, your first bearded dragon, everything just looks fairly normal. He was, back up a little bit, we got him from Gumtree, which is a bit like the UK version of Craigslist for those Americans out there. And it was a case of, here's the enclosure, the bearded dragon. He was on a sand substrate. He had one branch inside the actual enclosure. Funnily enough, that branch has actually stayed in the collection since, because it's now in with Hugo. I'll show you that one a bit later. But we got him back. He was cheap and cheerful, but he was amazing. We've always wanted one. It was there, it was amazing. Took him to the vets, and he had a sore in the bottom of his foot. Obviously, we didn't know it was a sore. We just thought that was part of his pattern or something like that. But the vet picked it up, and this is why it's vitally important if you are a new hobbyist or any hobbyist. Always go and get your new animals checked out by the vets. They ran a fecal test and everything. Fecal test came back absolutely perfectly clear, but he had this sore. They told us he's got this little sore. We want to do a little X-ray just to see what it's all about. And they did an X-ray on his paw, this one here to be precise. And it turns out his big finger, because bearded dragons, they've got loads of fingers, and obviously one of them's a bit bigger than normal. That had about 4 breaks in the actual finger. And the finger at one point had been curled over and tucked into his actual pad of his foot. His nail was embedded into the pad of his foot. Now that had obviously happened, and then the previous owners must have pulled it off or something, but that claw, or part of that claw, was still in his foot. And that's what was causing the sore. This had happened, the vet had said, it could have happened a year before we'd actually got him. It could have been a recent thing. It could have been the reason why he was actually up for sale. Could have been a number of things. But we have to get that sorted. But we can't just operate on the foot, get the claw out, and because the finger's still not correct. So it could easily happen again. So we want to try and fix the finger and the paw. So what they did, they got the little claw out. That was easy enough, actually. That was just done with tweezers, and then they treated it with some antiseptic sort of creams and stuff, and that worked absolutely perfect. He was on 0 substrate then. When that had healed up, we had to then go back and look at ways of healing his finger. Now the thing is with reptiles, not just bearded dragons, but reptiles in general, the whole array of reptiles, they're slow. They're very, very slow. That's why they live so long, that they take longer to recover. That's why the majority of them still look like dinosaurs, because they've not evolved as quick as we have from back then. But everything is slow. So they prescribed that particular substrate, that wood pellet substrate, to help straighten out the finger and let the bone itself heal. You sit there, you're thinking, well, that don't sound right. We were new reptile hobbyists. But every sort of 6 months, we'll go back, have another X-ray, and it was a slow progression of healing. 2 of the breaks had healed fully, 2 of them was just going there slowly, and those last 2 were the ones where it was most mobile on his fingers. So we changed it to a slightly deeper substrate to make it more compact, and that seemed to work. It took a total of 4 years. 3 days ago, he got the all clear from that wood pellet substrate. His fingers is absolutely perfect. The sore, that healed up instantly anyway, so that's not been a problem. You happy there, mate? Are you happy there? He's amazing. But yeah, I digress. He's got the all clear. Everything is perfect with his paw. Now, I keep calling it paw, but is it a claw? Is it a hand? Is it a front foot? It's this one here. You let me know in the comment section down below. What would you call it? Is it a paw? Is it a claw? Whatever it is. I'm sure somebody out there knows the scientific terms. So, we've got the all clear. Now, I've been planning for this all clear for the last 3 years. Watching channels like JTB Reptiles and seeing his bearded dragon on bioactivity setup. The products and the knowledge that I've built up through Reptile Systems, all the work I've done with them. It's just, I've been so excited to get him onto a bioactive setup, which is what I've done. I've done it. I'm chuffed about it. It's amazing. All the information I've built up as well through the heat gradients, wavelengths, long waves, short waves, tall, long, light gradients, heat gradients, UVI over UVB, UVA, just all the knowledge I've built up has all worked to this point. Now, I've not done a lot in his enclosure, and a few of the bits I've changed over the last few months. But let's go and have a look at Diego's fully bioactive enclosure. Let's go now. So here is his new enclosure. It's not even a new enclosure, it's the same enclosure he used to have. It's a 4 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot enclosure. I do want a bigger enclosure. I want it definitely taller because these are a semi-arboreal lizard and they do like to climb. That's one of the reasons why we've just put in this big branch. Now he used to go to sleep over on this corner here, and he used to just like go to sleep, his head dangling down on the steps. Now he's gripping onto that log all night. He just sits there gripping onto it all night long, fast asleep. I have never seen him have such a much more peaceful night's sleep than he does when he's on that log. But he loves it. As you can tell, he's on it right now, just down there. He absolutely loves it. We've gone with the sand, soil and clay based substrate. Now that was quite a tricky one because that took years of sort of learning what is the best one. I did try it years ago, didn't go well, it just got dusty. We don't want dust in the enclosures because then it gets into the respiratory infection sort of era, so we don't go down that line. This is a sand, soil and clay based substrate, so it's extremely firm on the top. So for all those people that are going to go down the line of that's loose substrate, you're killing your animal, like I get all the time, it doesn't bother me. Say what you want, it's engagement at the end of the day. Stick the thumbs down if you don't like it, I don't really care. But it's a firm substrate on the top, so it's not loose. The bottom layers, they're loose, and that's because basically the substrate's in layers. The top layer is fairly firm, underneath it's quite loose, and that's to help with root growth if I wanted to provide any plants within the enclosure. This enclosure is far too small to warrant any plant growth, simply because the water in the plants will spike the humidity, which will put him down the line of respiratory infections. We don't want that. So every now and then I'll just grab a potted plant that he can eat and I'll chuck it in there, and he'll just sit there munching away at it for a few days until there's nothing left. Then I'll take the pots out and leave him for a week. That's sort of just a bit of mental and stomach related enrichment for him. He's got that big branch in the middle which he absolutely loves. He basks on it because it gets him closer to the UVB lighting, which I'll explain in a minute. On his basking spot he's got a shallow large snake Exoterra hide. I don't use it as a hide, the entrance is blocked up. It's there because, and it's got the hollow airspace underneath it, it's there because the heat will absorb into the actual rock and bounce a different wavelength of light and heat off the actual substrate, off the actual surface, but it'll also retain some of that heat within the actual hide and just keep that spot that little bit warmer for longer once the lights have actually gone off. It's just a little idea that got told to me and it seems logical, so I've done it. That's what happens in the wild. They'll bask on rocks because the rocks are absorbing all the heat and bouncing off different wavelengths of heat and light throughout the rest of the day. So that's that bit done. He's still got a normal basking spot, obviously all thermostatically controlled. His lighting, let's move on to his lighting. Now his lighting in here is the Reptile Systems Twin T5 Luminaire. Let's go and talk about that. So the lighting, this you can class this as an update but not a full review because that video will be coming soon. But the one I've got in there is the Reptile Systems Twin T5 Luminaire. Why have I used this? Well, this is one of the only products on the market, if not the actual only product, where where you can basically replicate a sunrise in the morning, a sunset at night, and a higher UVB output peak in the middle of the day, just like these animals would see in Australia. That was the big selling point for me. And it's such a simple product. It's just absolutely amazing. It comes with, what did it come with? 12% UVB and a 6% UVB. So you have the 6% come on first thing in the morning, and that just helps the sun rise. Your basking spot will come on. Your 6% will come on. Then your 12% will come on, but your 6 will go off. So you've got that slightly higher, but not too high. Then middle of the day, both the UVB bulbs are on, the 6% and the 12%. They go off an hour later, then you're just left with the 12%. Then you're just left with a 6% on. So that's a full UVB cycle that these animals would naturally see in the wild. And for me personally, the only reason I keep these animals is to have a slice of that nature from whatever area these animals will come from within my home. For him, it's Australia, and I am near enough matching perfect to Australian conditions, and it's all thanks to products just like this. If you want to see a more in-depth video about these, because they are absolutely amazing, I actually did film and record and edit and upload a video onto the Reptile Systems YouTube channel. It's well worth a watch, and personally I think it's my best video that I've ever produced. But if you want to see that, there's the link just there. Click on that and it'll take you straight through to it. Remember, subscribe to Reptile Systems channel if you want to see more quality content and more quality products. Let's go back and talk about his food. And then finally, we just come back down to the sort of feeding regime for Diego. We just feed him in a dog bowl. We've just got a ceramic dog bowl. Currently, we've got a bit of greenery in there for him to have today. He's going to get a bit of Nutriball today, just packed full of nutrients. But we still cover it in calcium. Now, he's got UVB lighting in his enclosure, good quality UVB lighting. So he doesn't need calcium with D3. There is such a thing as D3 overdose. So we don't give him D3 if he's got UVB bulbs. And then quite simply, his water, he never drinks, but we still have to put in a little bowl of water once a day for an hour a day. Just drop it in. And if he has a bit, he has a bit. He never has had a bit. But with bearded dragons and those sort of aridy sorts of species, they tend to get all their moisture from their heavily gut-loaded live food, which is extremely important to gut-load your live food. I gut-load mine for a couple of weeks, just simply because I noticed that's a lot better than just gut-loading for 24 hours. So that's where they get their moisture from. But that's it, guys. That is the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, stick that thumbs up button. If you've not already, please subscribe. Why not? I bring you all the latest and greatest information, so why not? Right, I'm talking too much. Peace out, guys. I appreciate every one of you.